Here with me and Lightning Podcast. And today I would like to talk about the reasons the Chargers are Super Bowl contenders. Um, Something that probably you guys mostly know, but I've researched this, and what makes this team so different is a about five different main things that I could find that they have now that really they have never had in the past. So number one was something that a lot of people may disagree with me. I don't know. But the more I dug into it, the more it kind of made sense. And that's the location. The location of the Chargers used to be in San Diego, and they were considered a small market team. So the location really didn't help. It really was a a thing that really couldn't let the team expand as notoriety. I mean, yeah, they won, you know, the players got interviewed. The team was um, notarized that way. But really, when it came down to it, there was something always missing, and that was notoriety. Um, and it was even when they were winning, they didn't really you know show much to the Chargers. So I think by moving to LA, it ended up it ends up being a good deal. For one thing, I don't know how you could ask for any better location as far as everything is there. I mean, you got Hollywood, you got so you're gonna have I mean, you got the beach, you got everything, right? So you're gonna have players that's gonna want to come there. And with the state taxes the way they are, I mean, I've heard that mentioned too. Um, it means you better have something that's gonna be very enticing for people because they're gonna be able to afford these nice homes anywhere they live. But you can make things a little bit more enticing in a location where notoriety is like, off the charts. The media is right there. Almost anytime, a Charger player wants to have a media session with somebody, uh, or a meeting with them, they can do it. I mean, it's pretty simple. So uh, the location also with the team as far as making money, you couldn't have a more beautiful stadium. The stadium in San Diego was going downhill, and it was going downhill pretty fast. They weren't gonna get a new stadium in San Diego. As much as I would have loved that, it wasn't gonna happen. So, you have to kinda take the good with the bad and weigh it with what the team can get out of it. So, what happened? The Chargers ended up moving to LA. Um, and by my, you know, everything I've been able to dig into it, it was a good move. Um, it's they're making more money. They will have more notoriety. The media is available almost 24/7, and everything you want as far as a young person, you know, coming into the league, they're going to want to play there, and they'll play for a team, especially a team that has that location. So they're still considered, I guess, until they kind of build themselves up and start winning, more and more. They're probably still considered small market, I guess, but their fan base is growing, and it's growing by leaps and bounds. And for us old Charger fans, it's a good thing to see. I mean, I like to see the Chargers have media coverage. It's enjoyable to me. Um, they've been talked about more this past year than they ever have been. Now, a lot of it's because of the players they've got. That's true. Maybe also the coach, that kind of thing. We're gonna get into this. I think location was a big deal, and I really think it mattered. So I've got uh, I've got a couple of other things here. That was number one on my list. Number two was the ownership. The ownership was, if you look back at the beginning with Mr. Hilton that owned the team, he he was gung ho, but he wanted to make money. It wanted to be a new adventure type of a deal, and I he just wasn't going to be into it for the long haul. He saw especially once they joined the NFL, when the two merged, the NFL and NFL merged, he saw it was going to cost money. It was going to be an expensive venture. So I believe that his it just he just didn't want no more to do with it. He wanted to sell the team. So if that was if if that's what it was, then okay. But he had to find somebody to buy it. Well, he did. He found um, Mr. Klein, Eugene Klein, and he he was gung ho at the very beginning. Got a good team together. The team was very exciting. The problem of it is it didn't win right away. They went to 2 AFC championship games under Klein or with Klein, but it just it just he didn't want to spend that much money on the team. They had contract problems the whole time. So if you look at it in that respect, it wasn't gonna he wasn't gonna win. It wasn't gonna happen. So if you take in that account, his priority was horse racing. It wasn't football. He was he had I don't know how many horses, but they won like 300 races or something like that. Anyway, I read about something like that. Anyway, it it was not going to happen. So if you look at the you know outcome of everything, it just it's just not gonna happen. So he sold the team. So he sold the team to Alex Spanos. Alex Spanos, he he just didn't know everything there was to do about an NFL team. He tried with general managers. He tried to get a good general manager. Unfortunately, that general manager um, from the Redskins, uh, his name escapes me at the time being, but he was in a retirement phase, and he came over to Los Angeles. He was wanting to or to San Diego. He was wanting to actually be close to where he could surf. I mean, that's kind of what he was into, and have a beautiful place to stay and all that. But it wasn't until Alex Spanos kind of turned the team over to Dean Spanos that things started to change, and it started to change in actually a good way. He was wanting to have a winner. He still does. He wants to have a winner. Well, the only way you're going to do that is you have to just open their checkbook up, or at least you know let them know, hey, look, you need to get somebody, go get them. You know, and that was a big deal. That was huge because that made it then to where Tom Telesco could go ahead and do his thing. Well, Tom Telesco has a decent track record. He was from the Colts. He came from the Colts, went to the Chargers, and his idea of putting it all in to win a championship couldn't happen until he had the right coach. He tried different coaches, and it just didn't happen. But this coach I see as a complete different. Oh, I don't know. He's like he's uh he's very innovative, to say the least. going for it on 4th downs, which some people don't like. I do like. I see that as being a plus. If you look at the coaching in the history of the Chargers, a winning coach is usually a guy that's got something special about it. Either he's perfected the way the system is run in the NFL. Um, Everybody copies everybody. He's perfected it. Kind of like what uh, the Miami Dolphins did. They didn't really have anything new. They just kind of perfected what was actually everybody was trying to run. The Green Bay Packers back in years and years ago was that way. Uh, the the 49ers, they were a little different, and that's where it reminds me of this team is a little different. The Chargers are a little different. The 49ers had an innovative coach, West Coast offense, right? He also, at that time, got players from the Chargers. There was Mean Fred Dean and Gary Big Hands Johnson, and that was huge addition. That made the defense just explode. I mean, they were just great. So they won championships. Well, you have to be willing to do that, and your general manager has to be, into what the coach believes in and what he does. And I'll be honest with you, what I've seen out of Staley and Tom Telesco and the ownership, what I have seen has been a building process, and it's been a huge success, I think. Um, you have to be lucky. That goes with everything. You have to have a little luck involved. Um, Getting the players that they got was huge. It was a big deal. They had to have a quarterback right after Philip Rivers. Rivers was kind of going downhill. Loved the guy. Thought he was great. But the level that Herbert is at, even when he first played, was just jaw dropping. It was jaw dropping. Um, that guy, that kid, whew, he is one heck of a quarterback. And so when we got him, and he finally got to play, even though it was a horrible thing that that caused him to be able to play. Still, I don't want to go through that. We've heard that a million times. Um, but he once he got his foot out there, boy, it was just lights out. I mean, it was great. Well, so you have something to build with. You got a heck of a quarterback. Well, when Lynn left and Staley come on board, Staley knew what he had too. He saw it. And so what did they do? They tried to fix that offensive line to where he could throw for 400 yards without getting killed. Um, and it worked through most of it. I mean, there were some injuries that occurred that actually made it to where they didn't win their last game against the Raiders. But at that point, you're seeing through last season, you're seeing something that I mean, he broke how many records? Um, it was ridiculous. He did that his rookie year also. So you the talent that they've got, which is number 4 on my list of things that I looked at, they are horribly talented. On paper, this team is I mean, they got Bosa, they got Allen, they got Williams, they got Mack, they've got J.C. Jackson, they got Slater, uh, they've got Jerwin James, Eckler, Lindsley, and then of course they have Herbert. So you can't and they're just adding more guys. I mean, Joseph Day was a big addition, and you're going to see it. Johnson, another big addition. Um, there's huge. They've made huge progress with this defense, just like they did with with the offense last year, you're going to see, I believe, a team that really comes into their own. Um, from what I've seen in the past, the way they've built this team is so much more solid, and that's why I'm really saying, to me, now that really all they lack is just a few fine touches, and which the next video I want to get into that. But I see them really doing very well, and this year, um, I don't see them losing any more than 2 games. I mean, they talk about knocking off the Kansas City Chiefs. They almost did that last year. That's what I kept seeing, and I kept hearing people talk, about how good Kansas City is, which Kansas City is good. But I looked at it and I go, we beat them once in Kansas City, and then we almost beat them at home again when we played them later in the year. They didn't need much. Chargers didn't need a whole lot. The Raiders, same thing. They almost beat the Raiders twice. Denver, different story. Denver is going to be tough to beat every time you play Denver in Denver. So that's one game that I see the Chargers probably going to lose. It's just really hard to beat Denver in Denver. I don't know whether it's the altitude, the fan thing. I don't know. I don't know what it is, but they are tough to beat. That's a that's a tough team to beat. I don't care what kind of year they're having. They're just hard to beat in Denver. But they got a good chance to do that this year. Something that the Chargers have built on is rebuild the offense. That's pretty well been done. There's a few things they got to do in this draft to kind of solidify everything, which will, like I say, we'll get into that on the next video. But if you look at the team as a whole, offense, defense, special teams, coaching, general manager, ownership, location, it all fits. It's almost like a perfect storm, is what I've been seeing. And I really believe it. I I really think that the Chargers probably gonna go 15-2, 14-3 next year. And that's with not getting anybody out of this draft. You put you put some major pieces. I don't know what they're gonna do. They've got a plan. I've got an idea of what they should do. I'm sure you guys do too. But whatever they do really doesn't matter as far as what they have right now. Anything they add to it's gonna be better. Almost anything. I mean, you can you can look at this team and I'm thinking, wow. I mean, this isn't this isn't just a normal average run of the mill, Chargers team. this is this is an actual contending team that I think is going to be this good or that good. What I'm saying, not just for next year or this year, but for 2 or 3, maybe 4 years. This team could actually really dominate and possibly be that team that is just, like what the Miami Dolphins did, uh, Pittsburgh Steelers did in the '70s, like the Minnesota Vikings did. They didn't win a Super Bowl, but they were in 4 of them in 5 years. You got, teams like the Buffalo Bills, uh, with when they had Jim Kelly, they went to 4 straight Super Bowls. That's dominating. I don't they didn't win the Super Bowl, but man, they dominated the AFC. And I kinda see that happening with the Chargers. They've got that kinda talent. They don't have talent just on the offensive side and a special teams, that's good or great or whatever. Everything's kinda rounding into shape to where they're very good in every position. Now, they lack some hole they got some holes that I don't know Maybe Staley isn't worried about it. Maybe he's won without it as far as when he was coaching the Rams. So if you look at what he did with them, linebacker wasn't that big of a deal. But I still think it's something they could improve on. That's just my opinion. But to to see what they're going to do in this draft, to have the final touches put on this team, I see as and I'm not trying to be a homer. I'm just seeing what's making me happy about a team that hasn't never done this. This team has never, as far as and I've been a fan for over 50 years. I've never seen this. Never. Um, and maybe you guys can tell me I'm wrong, and I may be wrong, but boy, am I going to be fooled because it, you take away you take away injuries as a factor. That on paper, this team is incredible already. You put the thing of luck. You put luck having in being involved. The Buffalo Bills last year lost a game by a coin flip. That was luck. Come on. I mean, that's not no talent. Picking heads or tails is not a talent. It's just lucky. They lost that game because of that. I mean, yeah, they had to stop Kansas City. They didn't. Kansas City won. But they lost that game because of the coin flip, really. That's luck. And if the Chargers have just average luck, they don't have to be ridiculously lucky, but if they just kinda, have a little bit of luck here and there, bad calls made that aren't just against them, horribly, and have 15 penalties in one game or something stupid. If they can just kinda keep everything neutral in that area, I don't see any team beating them. I just don't. The teams that could beat them are Denver this year and Tennessee. That's the 2 teams that if I was Staley, I'd be looking in the back of my mind, I'd be thinking, that's gonna be some tough teams. Tough damn teams to play. When they play them is gonna matter. Um, you play Denver in Denver when it's in the dead of winter and, 2 feet of snow, that's gonna be tough. I don't care who you are. You have you play Denver in the summer, a little different. It's still tough, or not summer, but early in the season. That's gonna be tough because the temperature is gonna be warmer, or it could be, and the elevation really kills you. So you don't have a break whether it's good or, good weather or bad weather. It's just tough. So that is why I kinda look at that game as being a probable loss. But they could even win that game. The Chargers could even win that game. They'll have the talent. It'll just be preparation and, can they withstand the elements. Um, Tennessee, that is a hard-nosed team. They are really tough. In the playoffs, I don't know why they have such a hard time in the playoffs because you look at them, they lack a number 1 quarterback as far as, uh, like Herbert or, you know, uh, somebody somebody that's great, uh, but they got a good quarterback. He's not bad, and their running game is killer. Their defense, always tough. So, if if they're ready to go, that could be a tough game to play wherever you play them. They're tough just about anywhere, and and that would be the regular season, as far as I'm concerned, the toughest games. We almost beat Kansas City twice last year. We almost beat the Raiders twice last year. I don't see that as being anything to hold the Chargers back. Yeah, they're going to be tough games. Could be even close games, but I think the Chargers are gonna go in or win those games. I think they're gonna win them. So I see this year as a very happy year for a Charger fan. I think that the location is great. Again, the ownership's great. I see all this stuff. It's all lining up. So Charger fans, you got something to be happy about, man. This is great. But I tell you what, the next video that I'm gonna make, we're gonna dive into the draft a little bit. What I think the Chargers are gonna do, and I need some feedback from you guys. Let me know what you think. If you guys think they're gonna do XYZ, hey, let it out there. If you think they shouldn't, let it out there. But my draft is a little different from most of the guys that I've seen that's doing their mock drafts. Mine's a little bit different, and I've taken into account of what Staley's trying to build and what Telesco is helping him build. And I really see a direction that they're going in. I may be totally wrong. I mean, this team is real quiet when it comes to decisions on the team. They don't make much noise until it happens. So we'll have to wait and see. But as far as I'm concerned, this draft for this team isn't going to put us over the top. It won't put the Chargers over the top. Chargers are already on the top, as far as I'm concerned. It's going to just solidify it. It'll make it a little bit easier to be on top with the players that they're I believe they're going to go after. But we'll see. But anyway, guys, thanks for joining me. And until next time, which it's going to be a few days, I'm going to get my stuff together here and we'll get together again. All right. Well, you have a good day. Thanks for watching. Make sure you punch that like button. I need it. Thanks, guys. Bye bye.